Good day, everybody. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back to you with some more Warpforge. And today I'm going to be doing some card reveals about the upcoming raid. And stick around if you want to see what the new Warlord is going to look like. But before we get to the new Warlord, let us start off from some other things. And let's start from the common card that I'm going to be presenting today, which is the Otarch. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Otarch. So, this is a 6 energy 5/6/6. So, nothing special if you think about it, but it does come with the Spirit Stone ability. So, you can spend 1 Spirit Stone and it's going to gain 1 melee attack, 1 ranged attack, and 1 health, but not only himself, but it's also going to buff the board. Now, buffing the board may not be that crucial because Eldar rarely build a wide board, but it also works on itself because it's all your troops and not all your other troops, right? So this is really good. It's also going to buff vehicles, and even if you don't buff anything, this is going to be a 6 energy 6/7/7, which is already a fantastic stat line. So I think this is a pretty good unit. If you're looking for like some high-end troops in the mid game, this might actually be one of them. So this is like similar to Spirit Seer Kelinaris. I think the main reason why people used to run Kelinaris was because of its huge stat line. So I think this is going to serve a similar purpose. So this is going to be a troop that's just going to be very bulky. And in some cases, it's also going to give you a buff to some other troops for even more value. So I'd say for a start, this is a pretty interesting card. I don't know how much of this we're going to see, but it's definitely something that is worth exploring for sure. Now, let's actually take a look at the rare, and this one is very annoying. So we got the Farseer Skyrunner, so I think it was expected that these guys would appear in the game sooner or later. So we got a 5 energy 4/5/5 flying, so stats are nothing too crazy. It does, however, have flying. You need to consider that, and it has good melee as well for a flyer. But look at this, for two Spirit Stones, you can choose a card in the enemy hand and shuffle it back into their deck. I think this is actually really huge. I would say this is something that maybe you would use on Anvir Keltalk, because 2 Spirit Stone is a lot to pay, and also 5 energy is also a lot to pay just to get rid of a card in the enemy hand. But technically speaking, it's going to be very annoying because not only are you going to be able to remove some important combo pieces from the enemy's hand, but at the same time, you are going to basically like leave them with less cards, which is really good. This is going to be so good against Uriel, for example, because you can get rid of their Assault Doctrine, and Uriel struggles from card draw anyway. So yeah, you know, this is going to be very frustrating to deal with. But I think the fact that it just costs 5 and the stat line isn't that crazy kind of balances it out. Usually you guys know that I hate cards that like do this, but I mean, I think for 5 energy it could be possible because again, the Eldar are, you know, paying 5 energy plus 2 Spirit Stones for that. So yeah, pretty interesting. Another pretty interesting thing to explore for sure, but it's definitely going to be very annoying. Now for the epic, we got the Forewarned. Now, this is a pretty interesting thing. So 3 energy to give 3 attack and 3 ranged attack to one of your units. So that includes your Warlord as well. And if you also pay 1 Spirit Stone, you also give it shield. Now, I'll be honest, guys. I think this is kind of not good because if you compare this to the card that the Dark Angels have, I think it's called Ancient Reliquary, right? Basically does a similar thing. You just choose either health attack or ranged attack. The difference only is that it only chooses one of them, so not melee and ranged, but it's permanent. Obviously it doesn't target the Warlord though, but it costs 1 energy, and this costs 2 more. So I think this like costs a little bit too much for what it does. It can also give you a shield, which is nice because some defensive options on Eldar I think are never bad. This could help you trade with your Warlord when you want to take out a big threat, and Eldar do lack a lot of removal, so this could be a way to just buff up your Warlord and make it destroy a big troop. Because if you give it like plus attack and maybe also on top of that you have the Dance of Death, this could work. It will be a little difficult in my opinion to find a place in the deck for this, but maybe I am wrong. Maybe this will just help Eldar play even more aggro and even get a higher lethal. So who knows? I guess it is quite possible. And now the thing that you are all excited for, alright? So this is going to be the Warlord. So yes, it is indeed the Phoenix Lord of the Warp Spiders, as everybody expected. Pretty cool art, by the way, I love that. I love that Argyle Tal pose from HHL that it's running. I think it's pretty dynamic, pretty cool. So yeah, this thing looks really awesome. Not only does it look like the mutant Spider-Man from the 90s cartoon, but it also looks really cool in general. So here's an interesting thing though. So it's a standard Warlord, like 35 HP, 2 attack, 2 range attack, but it comes with stealth. Now that's pretty interesting because as you guys know, stealth lasts only 1 turn this game. So as I'm guessing, like if the enemy goes first, this kind of protects you from being outright attacked. This could be pretty good because this can protect you, for example, from Mozrog's 4 damage on turn 1, which is really good. It can also protect you from Iliac, for example. So anybody who really likes to push heavy aggro, this really protects you from it. I'm not sure if it has much use when you go first. I'm kind of unsure if you go first, will this last until, like, will this last the next turn as well? I probably think it will, because you start in stealth and you stay in stealth if you don't attack, and yeah, the next turn you just exit it. So I think this is actually a pretty neat defensive tool. It's not too abusive, it's not too annoying, it just helps her survive a little bit early game. Still a 35 HP Warlord, so you know, it's something definitely to consider. But let's also take a look at the talent, which is pretty interesting. I think a lot of you guys guessed kind of what this was gonna be. So this is Empiric Ambush. 2 energy, deal 2 damage, so you can deal this to troops or warlords, and if the target dies, give stealth to a random infantry, right? So this will stealth an infantry troop whenever you play this. So this could be actually a pretty good intro for another maybe Eldar archetype with more infantry, maybe more board-wide buffs. The Otarch can also benefit from this if you keep stealthing your troops. I think like one of the biggest plays will be if you have the Striking Scorpion Exarch, you attack with it and then re-stealth it. I think it's going to be pretty good. Also, don't forget you can target your own troops with that as well, which you can either do to maybe get a Spirit Stone, make sure the enemy doesn't destroy it, to apply stealth, and so on. Now, if I'll be honest, I'm happy that this doesn't target the Warlord, because otherwise it could have been maybe way too abusive. But who knows? Depending on how this Warlord will perform, maybe we're gonna see that or not gonna see that in the future. So yeah, I think overall these are pretty good cards. I'm also excited to see what the legendary card itself is, and I really want to know what are the other things that the Eldar are receiving, because you know, Eldar really needed some love, and I'm happy to see that they are finally getting some reinforcements. Also, gentlemen, if you wish to support the channel, and if you're planning to buy the raid or anything from the Warpforge shop, please use the link that I have pinned in the comments. That way, you're also going to be supporting me, and that link is going to take you to the Warpforge shop, and you can purchase from there. So, thanks a lot, guys. I'll be back with some content very, very soon. Had a busy week, so wasn't able to produce much. So, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Ecclesiarch out.